Yellowstone is a geologic wonderland with over 2 billion years of Earth's history recorded in the rocks. But some of that history is missing. Where did it go? Now remember, if you enjoy content like this, please be sure to hit like and subscribe down below so we can bring you more videos in the future. I'm standing at the base of Mount Everts on a pretty windy day. Mount Everts, near Mammoth Hot Springs, is made up of Cretaceous sediments. It's about 65 million years old and older, so when the dinosaurs were roaming the Earth, and it was mostly deposited on the margins of an inland shallow sea, sort of a coastal swamp. Maybe looked a bit like the Mississippi Delta does today. About 60 million years ago, the whole area started to uplift and no more rocks were deposited. That is, until 2.1 million years ago, when that layer right on top, that reddish layer, was deposited. That is the Huckleberry Ridge Tuff. It was erupted from a caldera-forming event in Yellowstone's system 2.1 million years ago. Where it comes into contact, there is about a 60 million year gap in Earth's history. We call that, in the geologic terms, an unconformity. Now, right at that unconformity, you can actually see some very interesting colors. There's the orange that's right in the marine sediment, and that's caused by baking of that sediment as the hot ash fell in the area. The white layer is the initial ash layer that came out when the eruption occurred. A black layer is a chilled layer of ash that came into contact with these colder rocks. And then you've got the very dense rock that forms the top of Mount Everts there. All of that is a welded ash unit. The ash was so hot and so thick that it welded together. So a geological unconformity where the marine sediments of Mount Everts come in contact with the Huckleberry Ridge Tuff. And if you really want to see the Huckleberry Ridge up close, check out Golden Gate, just south of Mammoth Hot Springs. There's a great exposure right there. Well, that's the story at Mount Everts. Now let's talk about the deformation, seismicity, and geyser activity that occurred in Yellowstone during the month of September.
It was another pretty average month for seismicity in the Yellowstone region. The University of Utah seismograph stations located about 85 earthquakes during the month of September. The largest was a magnitude 2.8 that occurred as part of this cluster right here on September 10th, just to the northeast of West Yellowstone, Montana. And as is usual, most of the seismicity occurred in this band stretching from Hebgen Lake in the west in towards Norris Geyser Basin to the east, with scattered seismicity otherwise. In terms of ground deformation, also a continuation of the same trends we've been seeing. This is vertical deformation at the White Lake GPS station on the east side of the caldera. Spans the last 2 years, and each one of these blue dots is 1 day's worth of data. Downward trends indicate subsidence, and upward trends indicate uplift. The overall subsidence trend continues. That's been going on since 2015 at a few centimeters, an inch or two per year. That's interrupted during the summer months, you can see here in 2022, and again in 2023 by a pause in that subsidence or even a slight amount of uplift. And that's caused as snowmelt and runoff from the spring percolates into the ground. It causes the ground to sort of puff up like a wet sponge. So no real changes in deformation, and we expect this sort of summertime pause in subsidence to roll over and the subsidence to resume perhaps in the next month. And finally, looking at Steamboat Geyser, the tallest geyser in the world. This is temperature measured in the outflow channel of the geyser, and these daily variations just show the temperature variations over the course of a day. The geyser channel was dry, wasn't much eruptive activity. That changed towards the end of the month when we see a lot of this up and down temperature variation. This is caused by minor eruptive activity, and whenever we see a lot of minor activity, that will often lead into a major. So, hopefully Steamboat is not quite done putting on a show for us yet, and during the month of October, we stand a pretty good chance of seeing a major eruption.
Well, that does it for the October 2023 YVO update. Please be sure to hit like and subscribe, and if you have any questions at all, you can email us at yvowebteam, that's all one word, at usgs.gov. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay warm, don't blow away, and we will see you next month. Bye-bye.